The cabin shudders. Lights flicker. Oxygen masks dangle like nooses. Asteria Kingsley, the woman who negotiated billion-dollar mergers without flinching, who walked into boardrooms full of men twice her age and made them listen, who once closed a hostile takeover while running a fever of 103, cannot breathe. Her fingers claw the armrest, nails digging into cheap vinyl, vision tunnels. The plane drops 50 feet and her stomach climbs into her throat, and suddenly she's not a vice president of global strategy anymore. She's not wearing a tailored charcoal suit worth 3 months' rent. She's not clutching her battered leather carry-on covered in visa stickers from 27 countries. She's 22 again, hanging upside down in wreckage, seatbelt cutting into her chest, blood running into her eyes, fire eating through fuselage like a living thing, smoke choking her lungs. And the worst part, the absolute worst part, is the waiting. 4 hours of not knowing if rescue would arrive or if she'd burn first. 4 hours of listening to people scream and then stop screaming. 4 hours of her own heartbeat counting down to nothing. The plane bucks again. Someone behind her whimpers. A child cries. The flight attendants are strapped in, faces professionally blank, but Asteria sees the fear in their eyes. She's going to die. 16 years of therapy, medication, controlled breathing exercises, and cognitive behavioral therapy, and none of it matters, because her body has already decided. This is how it ends. Hey, the voice cuts through the roar of blood in her ears. Low, calm, Korean accent softening English consonants, turning the vowels into something almost musical. Look at me. She can't, won't. Her eyes are squeezed shut, tears leaking from the corners, mascara probably running down her face, and isn't that fitting? The woman who never shows weakness, falling apart at 30,000 feet. 4 counts in. A hand appears in her peripheral vision. Male. Strong fingers, clean nails, a simple silver watch catching the flickering cabin light. The fingers tap her armrest. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rhythm is steady, unshaken, as if turbulence is just an inconvenience instead of a death sentence. Hold for 4. The tapping pauses. Her lungs burn. Release for 4. The stranger's rhythm is metronomic. The plane drops again, 50 feet, 100, who knows, and passengers gasp. Someone drops their phone. The overhead bins rattle like they're about to explode, but his hand keeps time like they're in a meditation studio, not a metal coffin hurtling through a storm at 500 miles per hour. She grabs his wrist without permission. Her hand is shaking so badly she almost misses. His skin is warm, real, alive. He doesn't pull away. That's it, he says. And his voice has this quality she can't name. Not pity, not condescension, just presence. Like he's anchoring her to the world through sheer force of will. We're landing in 12 minutes. Your breath controls the plane now. Keep it steady. Absurd logic. Her scientist brain knows turbulence doesn't care about breathing exercises. Knows that anxiety disorders don't respond to strangers' voices. Knows that the statistical probability of a commercial aircraft crashing is 1 in 11 million, which means she's safer here than in the taxi that brought her to JFK. But statistics don't comfort a nervous system that's been rewired by trauma. But her lizard brain, the ancient part that only knows threat and safety, fight or flight, survive or surrender, believes him. She breathes with him. 4 counts in, hold, 4 counts out, again, again. The plane shudders but doesn't drop. The masks still dangle but no one's screaming. His fingers keep tapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, and slowly, impossibly, her vision clears. She sees him then. Really sees him. Korean, mid-30s probably. Short, neat black hair, deep-set eyes that look like they carry their own weight. Minimal smile, but it's real. He's wearing a dark navy suit, no tie, the kind of understated elegance that costs more than it looks. He's not handsome in the aggressive way that demands attention. He's handsome in the way that makes you feel Safe. 12 minutes later, wheels kiss tarmac. The impact jolts through the cabin. For one horrible second, Asteria thinks they're crashing, but then the engines roar in reverse thrust, and the plane is slowing, rolling to a gentle stop. Applause erupts. Passengers laugh with relief, that slightly manic edge of people who just survived something they didn't know they needed to survive. Flight attendants unbuckle, smiling now, really smiling. Asteria releases his wrist. Her palm is damp with sweat. She's gripped him so hard there are probably marks. Her face burns with humiliation. This is not who she is. This is not how vice presidents of global strategy behave. This is not... Thank you, she whispers. Her voice is hoarse, wrecked. He smiles, small, kind, devastating. 안녕히 계세요. Safe travels. Then he's standing, pulling down a sleek black carry-on from the overhead bin and disappearing into Incheon's fluorescent rivers of passengers. She watches him go, this stranger who just saw her at her absolute worst, and feels something crack open in her chest where armor used to be. Around her, people gather their belongings, check their phones, return to their lives. Asteria sits frozen, clutching her carry-on, furious and grateful and terrified all at once. Because a stranger's voice now lives in her chest where control used to be, and she doesn't even know his name. If you've ever had a moment where vulnerability felt safer than control, you know why this story matters. Subscribe so you don't miss what happens when she discovers who he really is, and why the merger wasn't the only thing at stake. Your support helps us write more stories about the strength it takes to let someone in. Incheon International Airport is a study in efficiency and glass. Asteria moves through immigration like a ghost, handing over her passport with hands that won't quite stop shaking. The officer barely glances at her face before stamping the page. Another American consultant, another business visa, nothing unusual. She collects her luggage, declines the taxi service, and finds herself in the arrivals hall surrounded by a language she doesn't speak and a culture she's only studied in briefing documents. Her phone buzzes. Marcus Chen. Landed safe? Call me when you're settled. We need to talk about the contract terms. She deletes the message. Marcus is her past, 3 years past to be exact, and she's done letting him dictate her present. He was her boss before he was her fiancé, and when she told him she was taking the Seoul assignment, he'd said, "You're choosing a career over a life." Again. What he meant was, "You're choosing yourself over making me comfortable." She finds the airport train to Seoul Station, then transfers to Line 5 toward Uido, following the directions her assistant emailed. The subway is clean, efficient, packed with late-night commuters in business attire. She's the only obvious foreigner in the car, and people glance at her. Not hostile, just curious. She's used to being noticed. Black woman, nearly 6 feet tall in heels, honey brown eyes that her mother calls too intense for your own good. Long, straight, dark hair that took her years to love. The hotel is Western standard luxury. Marble lobby, English-speaking staff. A room on the 23rd floor with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Han River. She should sleep. It's past midnight. She's been traveling for 14 hours. Tomorrow is the first day of the merger audit, and she needs to be sharp. Instead, she stands at the window and watches the city breathe. Seoul is alive in a way New York isn't. The lights are warmer, the river reflects everything. The buildings seem to grow organically instead of imposing themselves. Somewhere down there is Lyra Dynamics, the company she's been hired to evaluate. Somewhere down there is her future for the next 6 months. Somewhere down there might be him. She strips off her suit, pulls on pajamas, takes her medication, the small white pill that's supposed to keep the panic at bay but didn't work at 30,000 feet, and climbs into bed. Sleep doesn't come. She keeps feeling the phantom tap of his fingers on her wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who teaches themselves box breathing? Who stays that calm during turbulence that made flight attendants go pale? Who looks at a stranger having a panic attack and decides, without hesitation, to help? Her phone buzzes again. This time it's Dr. Yoon Tae-jin, the senior governance consultant who recommended her for this position. Welcome to Seoul, Ms. Kingsley. First meeting is at 9 a.m. The team is eager to meet you. One note: CEO Han values directness over politeness. Don't soften your assessments to spare feelings. He'll respect you more for honesty. CEO Handao Han Jun-seo, according to her briefing documents. 36, took over Lyra Dynamics 8 years ago after his father's company collapsed due to partner fraud. Rebuilt from nothing. Reputation for being brilliant, demanding, and intensely private. No social media, no press interviews, no scandals, just results. She finally falls asleep around 3 a.m. and dreams of falling. The glass tower swallows her whole. Lyra Dynamics occupies 12 floors of steel and smart design in Uido's financial district, where skyscrapers grow like trees, and every building seems to house either a tech giant or a financial conglomerate. The lobby is minimalist: white stone, live edge wood, a water feature that sounds like rain, and a receptionist who bows 90 degrees when Asteria approaches. Ms. Kingsley, welcome. They are ready for you on the 14th floor. The elevator is glass-walled. Asteria watches Seoul shrink beneath her feet as she rises, and fights the irrational urge to press herself against the back wall. Heights don't usually bother her. But after yesterday, everything feels fragile. The 14th floor is open concept. Engineers at standing desks, strategists in glass meeting rooms, a coffee bar that smells like heaven, and everywhere, people working with a focused intensity that she recognizes. This is a company that cares. That's rare. A young woman approaches, ponytail perfect, tablet in hand, crisp white shirt, and Seoul skyline visible through the windows behind her. Ms. Kingsley, I'm Lee Soo-jin, CEO Han's executive assistant. Thank you for coming. May I offer you tea? Coffee? Coffee, please. Black. Soo-jin smiles. Americano. Good choice. She leads Asteria down a corridor lined with awards, innovation prizes, sustainability certifications, employee satisfaction rankings. The CEO wanted you to see these before the meeting. He says accolades matter less than culture, but culture creates accolades. Smart. He's priming her, showing her what the company values before she starts asking difficult questions. The boardroom is all glass and leather. 8 people wait, seated around a table that could fit 20. 7 men, 1 woman. The woman catches Asteria's attention immediately. Sharp bob, glasses, burgundy blouse under gray blazer, reading a financial report with the focus of someone who sees numbers as stories. Park Murray, CFO, according to Asteria's notes. 42, 18 years at Lyra, survived the company's near collapse and helped rebuild. Asteria sets her briefcase on the table, Mont Blanc pen visible through the mesh pocket, battered leather covered in visa stickers from 27 countries, and smiles. Good morning. Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm honored to... The door opens. He walks in. Time stutters. Dark navy suit, no tie. Silver watch catching the light. Deep-set eyes that cataloged her panic 48 hours ago now scan the room with the efficiency of someone who built this company from code and coffee and sleepless nights. Same hands, same calm, same devastating presence. Their eyes meet. Asteria's heart stops, restarts, trips over itself. He nods. Polite, distant, stranger professional. Not a flicker of recognition on his face. Ms. Kingsley, welcome to Lyra Dynamics. His voice is the same metronomic calm that kept her breathing, but now it's wrapped in formality, in hierarchy, in the careful distance between CEO and external consultant. I'm Han Jun-seo, CEO. I trust your flight was smooth. The room waits. Asteria's hand tightens on her pen. Every eye is on her. Miray's gaze is sharp, assessing. Doctor. Yoon, seated at the far end, watches with the expression of someone who knows more than he's saying. Perfectly smooth, she says, voice steady, professional, giving nothing away. Thank you, Mr. Han. Liar. Both of them. He takes his seat at the head of the table. Dr. Yoon has briefed you on the merger structure, I assume? I've reviewed the preliminary documents. I'll need access to full financial records, supplier contracts, employee retention data, and integration timelines before I can provide meaningful analysis. Mirai's lips thin. That's extensive. Some of those records are sensitive, which is why I signed an NDA that could bankrupt me if I violate it. Asteria meets her gaze. I'm not here to steal trade secrets, Ms. Park. I'm here to ensure this merger doesn't destroy what you've built. Silence. Then Kyungrae Soh leans back, and she sees it, the ghost of a smile. Direct. I appreciate that. Mirai Neum, please coordinate with Ms. Kingsley. Full access. Mirai nods, but her jaw is tight. The meeting continues for an hour. Asteria takes notes, asks questions that make people uncomfortable, and watches Kyungrae Soh lead with a quiet authority that doesn't demand attention, just earns it. He listens more than he speaks. When he does speak, people lean in. This is not the man who held her wrist on the plane. That man was gentle, present, human. This man is a CEO, controlled, strategic, unreachable. But when the meeting ends and everyone stands to leave, he catches her eye for half a second. And she knows. He remembers everything. Dr. Yoon Tae-jin stays after the others file out. He's 61, silver gray hair neatly combed, round metal frame glasses perched on a nose that's seen 40 years of corporate theater. There's something about him, wisdom mixed with weariness, like he's watched too many companies make the same mistakes, and he's tired of writing eulogies. Walk with me, Ms. Kingsley. It's not a question. She follows him out of the boardroom, down a hallway lined with photographs, company milestones, team retreats, a picture of a much younger Kyungrae Soh shaking hands with the Minister of Trade. They end up in a small conference room with a view of the Han River, sunlight pouring through floor-to-ceiling windows. Dr. Yoon slides a folder across the table. The merger terms are comprehensive, but I want to draw your attention to Clause 17. Asteria flips pages, scanning legalese. Her pulse spikes when she finds it. A 6-month integration audit is required, conducted jointly by the external consultant and the CEO, with weekly progress reports submitted to the governance board. Physical presence at Seoul headquarters mandatory. Both parties must sign all final documentation. 6 months, side by side, daily, co-signatures. This is unusual, she says carefully, lawyer instincts flaring. Most audits are quarterly check-ins, monthly at most. Dr. Yoon pours tea from a ceramic pot, the scent floral and calming. Most mergers fail because consultants parachute in, collect data, and vanish. They write reports that no one reads and make recommendations that no one follows. I recommended you, Ms. Kingsley, because your reputation suggests you don't run from difficulty. You're asking me to embed for 6 months. I'm asking you to care about the outcome, not just the paycheck. He meets her eyes. Lyra Dynamics is special. Kyungrae Soh rebuilt this company with his hands and his heart after his father's partners destroyed everything. If this merger fails, 5,000 people lose their jobs. If it succeeds unethically, Kyungrae Soh loses his integrity. I need someone who understands the difference. Asteria sits back. And if I find problems, if the merger should be stopped, then you stop it. That's why you're here. With respect, Dr. Yoon, my firm has a financial stake in this deal closing. If I recommend termination, I'm killing my own commission. He smiles. I know. That's why I trust you to tell the truth. People who have nothing to lose are dangerous. People who choose truth over profit despite the cost. Those are the ones who change the world. Before she can respond, the door opens. Kyungrae Soh enters, and the energy in the room shifts. Not hostile, just charged, like the air before a thunderstorm. Am I interrupting? No, Dr. Yoon says. I was just explaining Clause 17. Kyungrae Soh's gaze flicks to Asteria. Any concerns? She should say yes. Should negotiate, set boundaries, protect herself. This clause means 6 months in his orbit, 6 months of pretending she doesn't remember the way his voice pulled her back from the edge. Instead, she picks up the Mont Blanc pen, realizes, with a jolt, that it's his. He must have left it here earlier, and signs. Her hand shakes. Just once. Then it steadies. Kyungrae watches her sign, expression unreadable. Then he takes the pen from her hand, his fingers brushing hers for half a second, and signs his own name. Clean. Confident. Final. "Welcome to Lyra Dynamics, Ms. Kingsley," he says. "I hope your stay in Seoul is productive. I hope your company is everything Dr. Yoon believes it is, Mr. Han." They stare at each other. The air crackles. Dr. Yoon clears his throat. "I'll file these with the board. You both start Monday." He leaves. The door clicks shut. Alone, Asteria and Kyungrae stand on opposite sides of the table, the signed contract between them like a bridge or a barrier. She can't tell which. "You knew," she says quietly. "You knew I'd be here. I recommended you," he admits. "After the flight, I looked up your firm, found your name, saw your track record. You don't compromise. You manipulated this. I requested it. Dr. Yoon agreed, because he thinks you're the only consultant who won't let us fail comfortably." He steps closer. "I'm not sorry. You should be. Now we have to work together for 6 months and pretend..." She stops herself. "Pretend what?" His voice is soft. "Dangerous." "Nothing." "Asteria." Her name in his mouth is a shock. He's never said it before. "I'm not going to pretend I don't remember. That would be a lie. But I can be professional. Can you?" She meets his eyes. "I've been professional my entire career, Mr. Han. I don't intend to stop now." "Good." He turns to leave, then pauses at the door. "And for the record, I'm glad you landed safely." Then he's gone, and she's alone with a signed contract and a heartbeat that won't slow down. The city breathes in contrasts. Asteria spends her first weekend exploring, trying to outrun the feeling that she's made a terrible mistake. She walks from Uido's glass towers toward the Han River, where rooftop gardens bloom above trading floors and Hanak tea houses crouch in the shadows of Samsung and Hyundai headquarters. The November air bites, sharp and clean, so different from New York's damp cold. She pulls her coat tighter, watching couples share steaming bunjeopang, fish-shaped pastries filled with sweet red bean, on the riverbank. Everyone here seems to move in pairs. It makes her feel lonelier. Her phone buzzes. "Marcus Chen. Heard you signed the 6-month clause. Are you insane? Call me." She doesn't. Instead, she finds herself in a small cafe tucked down an alley in Seongsudong, all wood and soft light and the smell of roasting beans. An elderly woman with kind eyes serves her tea without asking what kind. Just places the cup in her hands like she knows somehow that Asteria needs warmth more than choice. The door chimes. She doesn't look up, too busy watching steam curl from her cup. "May I?" She knows that voice. Kyungrae stands beside her table, no longer in a suit but jeans and a simple black sweater, and he looks human, tired, real. His hair is slightly messy, like he's run his hands through it too many times, and there are shadows under his eyes that weren't there in the boardroom. She nods. He sits. Orders in Korean. Soft, flowing syllables that sound like music. The elderly woman smiles at him, calls him Sajangnim, but with affection, not fear, and brings him tea without him asking for anything specific. "You knew I was here," Asteria says. Not accusatory, just factual. "This is my neighborhood. I come here every Sunday." He wraps his hands around his cup, mirroring her. "But yes, when I saw you walk in, I could have left. I didn't." "Why not?" "Because I'm tired of pretending." He meets her eyes. "You grabbed my wrist at 30,000 feet and didn't let go until we landed. That's not someone who pretends vulnerability doesn't exist. And I've spent 8 years building walls so high even I forgot what was behind them. Then I spent 12 minutes with a stranger who let me see her fear without shame. And I remembered. We're allowed to be human. Her throat tightens. I'm supposed to be evaluating your company. This is complicated, I know. But I'm not asking for anything except honesty. Can we be honest with each other? Even if it's uncomfortable? She should say no. Should maintain boundaries. Should protect herself. I haven't told anyone about the crash, she hears herself say. 16 years. My ex-fiancé knew, but he saw it as weakness. Proof that I couldn't handle high-pressure situations. Never mind that I've closed 37 mergers across 4 continents. One panic attack defined me in his eyes. Junseo's jaw tightens. Then he was an idiot who didn't deserve to know you. Maybe. Or maybe he was right. Maybe I am. Stop. His voice is firm, but not harsh. Panic attacks aren't moral failures. They're what happens when your body tries to protect you from something that once almost killed you. You survived a plane crash at 22. Your nervous system remembers. That's not weakness. That's proof you're still fighting. She blinks hard, willing tears not to fall. You sound like my therapist. I have one too. Tuesdays. Been seeing her for 3 years. For what? Panic attacks, he says simply. Started after the recall crisis 2 years ago. We had a defective component in 12,000 units. No one was hurt, thank God, but the stress nearly killed me. I'd be in board meetings and suddenly I couldn't breathe. Thought I was having a heart attack. Turned out it was just my brain deciding I couldn't handle the pressure. But you did handle it. Eventually, with help, and breathing exercises that my therapist taught me. He demonstrates, fingers tapping on the table. 1, 2, 3, 4. Box breathing. 4 counts in, hold 4, out 4, hold 4. Sounds ridiculous until you're drowning and it's the only thing keeping you tethered. Understanding crashes over her. That's how you knew. On the plane. I recognized the signs. And I thought, if someone had done that for me the first time, maybe I wouldn't have suffered alone for 6 months before asking for help. So I did for you what I wish someone had done for me. They sit in silence. Not uncomfortable. The kind that happens when 2 people recognize the shape of each other's scars, without needing to catalog every wound. Outside, the river reflects neon. Inside, something shifts. A wall coming down. A bridge being built. This is still complicated, Asteria says. Yes. I have a job to do. I know. If I find problems, I have to report them, even if it hurts you. I'm counting on it, Junseo says. That's why I wanted you. Someone who won't let me lie to myself. She doesn't know it yet, but she just chose soul over safety, chose uncertainty over control, chose the harder path because it's the honest one. And when she leaves the cafe an hour later, she's smiling. Monday morning, the work begins in earnest. Asteria arrives at 7 a.m., determined to prove that personal conversations don't affect professional judgment. Junseo's already there. She can see him through the glass walls of his office, reviewing deployment schedules with the engineering team. She watches him work. No raised voices, no ego, just questions that clarify instead of criticize. What do you need to succeed, instead of why isn't this done? Leadership without performance. By day 3, she's learned the rhythm. Mornings are for data, financial reconciliations, supplier contracts, employee retention metrics, risk assessments. Afternoons are for people, interviews with department heads, factory floor visits, quiet conversations in the cafeteria where the real information flows. Who's struggling, who's thriving, where the hidden problems hide. Lee Soo-jin becomes her unexpected ally. She brings Asteria coffee without asking. Americano, no sugar, somehow she knew, and slides her notes about internal politics written in careful English. Miranium is protective, Soo-jin says one afternoon, voice low, while they're alone in the copy room. She was here when Junseo's father lost everything. She helped rebuild, found the fraud in the books, Testified even though it meant losing friends. She's afraid change will destroy what they saved. Asteria files that away. Not villain. Guardian who's seen too much loss. The week ends with a crisis. A supplier in Busan, critical component manufacturer for Lyra's flagship product line, missed delivery by 4 days. Production halted. Assembly lines idle. Clients threatening penalties that could cost millions. Kyungrae calls an emergency meeting. 9 p.m. on a Friday. The team looks exhausted. Ties loosened, makeup faded, coffee cups multiplying. Options, he says simply. No preamble. Mirai suggests penalty waivers, relationship preservation. They've been with us for 10 years. One delay shouldn't end that. The COO wants to switch suppliers immediately, cut losses. Loyalty doesn't keep assembly lines running. The legal team warns about breach of contract implications. The finance team calculates cost scenarios. Everyone talks in circles, protecting their own territories. Asteria reviews the contract on her laptop, finds a clause about force majeure. Typhoon damage last month in Busan qualifies, if they can prove causation. Negotiate extension based on force majeure, she says, cutting through the noise. But audit their financials first. If they're struggling beyond weather damage, we need to know before we're locked in long-term. A delay is a symptom. I want to know the disease. Kyungrae nods slowly. Ms. Kingsley and I will go to Busan tomorrow. Mirai Nim, prepare the audit request. Legal, draft the force majeure addendum. We reconvene Monday with data. Mirai's face tightens. I can handle Busan. You don't need to. I know you can, Kyungrae says gently. But Clause 17 requires joint oversight. This is practice for the bigger audits ahead. The meeting ends. People scatter, relieved to have direction. Asteria packs her laptop, already mentally preparing for the trip. What documents to request, what questions to ask, how to read a factory floor for signs of deeper trouble. Kyungrae appears beside her. Have you been to Busan? Never. It's beautiful. Loud. The ocean doesn't apologize for taking up space. He smiles, and it transforms his face. Less CEO, more human. You'll like it. I'll have Sujin book the train tickets. KTX leaves at 8 a.m. Mr. Han, when it's after 9 p.m. and everyone's gone home, you can call me Kyungrae. We shouldn't. Probably not, he agrees. But I'm tired of Mr. Han from someone who's seen me at my most human. We can be professional in public and honest in private, unless you can't do both. It's a challenge. And Asteria has never walked away from a challenge. Fine, Kyungrae, but in the office, you're still Mr. Han. Agreed, Ms. Kingsley. Asteria, if we're doing this. His smile widens. Asteria, see you at Seoul Station. She leaves before she can second guess, before she can overthink, before she can protect herself from whatever this is becoming. The KTX train slices through countryside at 300 kilometers per hour. Asteria watches rice fields blur into mountains, urban sprawl giving way to rural beauty so sudden it steals her breath. Korea is smaller than she expected. You can cross the entire country in a few hours, but dense with life, every inch cultivated or built or growing. Kyungrae sits beside her, reviewing supplier files on his tablet. He's wearing jeans and a dark sweater, first time she's seen him fully out of business mode, and it makes him look younger, less burdened. There's a softness to him when he's not performing CEO. Your father, she starts, then hesitates. Sujin mentioned, I'm sorry, is that too personal? It's relevant, Kyungrae says, setting down the tablet. He built a mid-size manufacturing company from nothing, trusted a partner, his college friend, someone he'd known for 30 years. That partner cooked the books, siphoned money through shell companies, left my father holding the debt when auditors came calling. By the time we understood the scope, the company was underwater. My father had a heart attack 3 months later, died believing he'd failed everyone who trusted him. I'm so sorry. I was 28. Mirai was a junior accountant then. She found the discrepancies, testified at the trial, lost half her friends for betraying a respected businessman. She helped me rebuild. That's why she's protective now. She's afraid I'll repeat his mistake, trusting the wrong person, missing the signs, letting loyalty blind me to fraud. Asteria hears the unspoken question hanging between them. Are you the wrong person to trust? I'm here to find the truth, she says quietly. Even if it's uncomfortable. Even if it damages the merger. I won't lie to spare feelings or protect profits. I know. That's why I wanted you. He meets her eyes. Everyone else would have told me what I wanted to hear. You'll tell me what I need to know. The train pulls into Busan Station 2 hours and 30 minutes later. The city hits like a wave, noise and salt air and energy, so different from Seoul's controlled elegance. Busan is Korea's second largest city, a massive port where container ships stack like toys, and the ocean is always visible, always present. The supplier's factory is in an industrial zone near the harbor, steel and concrete and the smell of machine oil. Mr. Choi, the owner, is 50s, tired suit, hands that shake slightly when he pours tea. The typhoon destroyed 2 warehouses in September. Insurance is processing slowly. We're managing. Asteria reviews the preliminary books he provides. Numbers swim. Something's off. Invoices don't match purchase orders. Payments to subcontractors cluster strangely. Dates overlap in ways that don't make operational sense. May I see the Busan subsidiary's Q3 reconciliation? She asks, keeping her voice neutral. Your summary shows discrepancies I'd like to trace. Mr. Choi hesitates. His cup clinks against the saucer. I'll need to pull from archives. Give me 20 minutes. They wait in a dingy conference room with water-stained ceiling tiles and windows that rattle in the wind. Rain starts, drumming the glass. Asteria's phone buzzes. Marcus again, 3rd time today. She silences it. Your ex? Kyungrae asks, not looking up from his own phone. How did you... You get a specific expression when his name appears, like you're bracing for impact. He glances at her. Do you still love him? The question is too personal for a professional setting, but they're alone in a factory in Busan, rain sheeting down, and the rules feel different here. No, Asteria says. I don't think I ever did, really. I loved who I thought he was. Then I learned he needed me smaller, quieter, more grateful. He was my boss before he was my fiancé. I was promoted too fast, earned too much, got too much attention. He proposed during a company retreat, very public, very romantic. I said yes because saying no felt impossible. What happened? I got the Seoul offer. He told me turning it down proved I was ready for marriage. Taking it proved I wasn't. So I took it. She smiles without humor. He said I chose a career over a life. But the truth is, I chose not to disappear. He needed someone who would shrink. I needed to grow. Junseo's hand rests on the table, fingers spread. She remembers those fingers tapping the armrest, marking time, pulling her back from the edge. Some people mistake size for strength, he says quietly. You're strong because you know when to ask for help. That's rarer than you think. Before she can respond, Mr. Choi returns, pale, sweating despite the cold. I can't find the Q3 files. They were damaged in the typhoon. Asteria's instincts flare. Digital backups. Corrupted. Every alarm in her head screams. All of them? Physical and digital? Yes. That's statistically unlikely, Mr. Choi. She keeps her voice gentle. Accusation doesn't get answers. Help me understand. When did you discover the corruption? Last week, when your office requested the audit. Junseo stands, and his presence fills the room despite his average height. Mr. Choi, we're trying to help. But we need transparency. If there's fraud, covering it makes you complicit. If there's innocent explanation, hiding it makes you look guilty. So please, tell us the truth. The man crumbles. literally sinks into his chair like his spine can't hold him anymore. Mirai Neem told me not to worry. 3 months ago, when the losses started showing. She said headquarters would handle the discrepancies internally, that I shouldn't draw attention. I thought it was approved. The room goes cold. Asteria and Kyungrae exchange glances. The same thought, unspoken. Mirai covered this up, continuing with remaining sections to reach 8,000, 10,000 words. They return to Seoul in silence. The KTX train hurtles through darkness, and Asteria stares at her reflection in the window, mind racing through scenarios. Mirai covered discrepancies. The question isn't if. Mr. Choi confirmed it. The question is why and how deep it goes. Kyungrae hasn't spoken in an hour. He's staring at his hands, jaw clenched. That muscle ticking that she's learned means he's processing something painful. She wouldn't betray me, he finally says, voice hoarse. Maybe she thought she was protecting you. From what? From making a decision she didn't trust you to make. From panic. From bad press. From losing investors before you were ready. Asteria turns to face him. People do the wrong thing for right reasons all the time. That doesn't make it okay, but it makes it human. His eyes are red-rimmed. My father died because his partner hid problems. And now Mirai. We don't know what Mirai did or didn't do. We know Mr. Choi says she told him to stay quiet. That's one data point. We need the full picture before we draw conclusions. How are you so calm? Because panic doesn't solve problems. It just makes them louder. She reaches across the space between their seats, almost touches his hand, then pulls back. Professional boundaries. We get back. We pull every Busan-related file. We trace every transaction. We find the truth. Then we decide what to do with it. He nods, takes a shaky breath. Thank you. For what? For not assuming the worst. For seeing nuance. For being exactly who Dr. Yoon said you were. They arrive at Seoul Station past midnight. The city is quieter now. Street vendors packing up. Last trains departing. Kyungrae walks her to the taxi stand, even though she insists it's unnecessary. Text me when you're back at the hotel, he says. I'm a grown woman. I know you don't need it. I'm asking anyway. She texts him 20 minutes later. Back safe. See you at 7 a.m. His response comes immediately. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be hard. She doesn't sleep. Instead, she showers, makes instant coffee from the hotel minibar, and starts building a forensic analysis framework. If Mirai covered losses, there will be patterns, payments authorized outside normal channels, invoices approved without proper documentation, communication gaps where there should be clarity. At 3 a.m., her phone buzzes. Kyungrae. Can't sleep either. Want to start early? She's dressed and in a taxi within 15 minutes. The Lyra Dynamics building is eerie at 4 a.m. Security lets them in. Apparently, CEO working through the night isn't unusual. The guard bows, doesn't ask questions, just hands them visitor badges and points to the elevators. The 14th floor is dark except for the war room Kyungrae leads her to. A windowless conference room with 6 monitors mounted on the walls, a whiteboard covering one entire side, and stacks of file boxes labeled Busan, Q2, Q3, in neat Hangul and English. I had these pulled from archives yesterday, Kyungrae says, flipping on lights that buzz and flicker before settling into harsh fluorescent white. Everything related to the Busan subsidiary for the past year. Asteria sets down her bag, rolls up her sleeves. Let's find out what Mirai was hiding. They work in methodical silence. Asteria takes financial records, ledgers, wire transfers, payment authorizations. Kyungrae handles operational documents, purchase orders, delivery confirmations, quality control reports. They build parallel timelines, looking for gaps, inconsistencies, the places where official records don't match reality. At 6 a.m., Soo-jin arrives with a bag of fresh pastries and a thermos of coffee that smells like salvation. She takes one look at them, Kyungrae's hair standing up where he's run his hands through it. Asteria's blazer discarded, both of them surrounded by documents and empty coffee cups from the break room, and starts coordinating without being asked. "What are we looking for?" she asks, firing up the main monitor and pulling up Lyra's financial database. "W340 million that shouldn't exist," Asteria says, not looking up from a spreadsheet. "Payments made, materials not delivered. Shell companies. Fraud that someone covered up." Sujin's fingers fly over the keyboard. She's a digital native, navigating corporate systems with the ease of someone who spent years learning the hidden pathways. Filtering for Busan transactions over W10 million. Cross-referencing with engineering purchase requests. Looking for orphan payments. By 9 a.m., the picture emerges like a photograph developing in chemicals. 12 transactions over 6 months. All routed through a subcontractor called Hanjin Materials Supply. Each payment between W25 to 35 million. All approved by Mirai's office with her digital signature. All accompanied by invoices for specialty components, rare earth metals, precision-grade polymers, advanced circuitry, that Lyra's engineering team never ordered and never received. Hanjin Materials doesn't exist, Sujin says, pulling up business registration records from the Korean Ministry of Economy and Finance. No tax filings. No corporate address, no employee records, ghost company. Junseo closes his eyes, jaw working. She knew. Mirai knew, and she covered it. Wait. Asteria pulls up another file, this one with an encryption flag she recognizes, AES 256, the kind used for sensitive internal audits. She runs her forensic software, the same tools she used to crack money laundering schemes for clients in Singapore and Dubai. The password crumbles in 90 seconds. There's a secondary ledger system. She opens the files. Her breath catches. Inside, every transaction, meticulously documented. Invoices marked in red digital ink. Pending review, suspected fraudulent. Email chains where Mirai flagged discrepancies to her own audit team. A memo dated 3 months ago, addressed to no one, like she was documenting for a future investigation. Recommend immediate full audit of Busan subsidiary. Suspected supplier fraud via Hanjin Materials Supply. Payments total W342M. Covered temporarily to prevent shareholder panic and stock volatility, but cannot sustain long-term. Require CEO approval to proceed with formal investigation. Risk assessment, high. She knew it was wrong, Asteria says slowly, piecing it together. But she thought short-term cover would buy time to build an airtight case. She wasn't destroying evidence. She was gathering it. Why not come to me? Junseo's voice is raw. I would have helped. Because she remembers your father. Asteria turns to face him. She remembers bringing him evidence of fraud and watching it destroy him. She probably thought she was protecting you by handling it herself. Sujin speaks up quietly. There's something else. The approval chain. Every invoice went through Mirai's office, yes, but they were all initiated by the same person. She highlights a name in the metadata. Board member Kang Sung-ho. He's listed as the authorizing requester on all 12. The room goes silent. Kang Sung-ho, 20 years at Lyra Dynamics, trusted advisor, old friend of Junseo's father, the man who stood at the funeral and promised to look after the family legacy. Pull everything on Kang, Junseo says, voice like ice. Bank records, if we have access, communication logs, travel expenses, everything. They dig deeper. By noon, the fraud architecture is clear. Kang created Hanjin Materials as a shell company, funneled Lyra payments through it, then transferred the money to offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands and Singapore. He'd been bleeding the company slowly for at least 3 years, maybe longer. Total estimated theft, over W800 million, nearly $1 billion. He used Mirai, Asteria says, made her think it was legitimate supplier relationships. When she found discrepancies, he probably told her to handle it quietly to avoid embarrassing Lyra. Classic manipulation, turn the victim into the accomplice. At 1 p.m., they call Mirai into the war room. She enters slowly, wary, sees the monitors covered in transaction data and evidence chains, and her face drains of all color. She knows. She knows they know. Sit, Junseo says, not harsh, just exhausted. She sits, hands folded in her lap, spine straight despite everything. There's dignity in her posture, the kind that comes from years of carrying burdens no one else sees. Asteria walks her through the evidence gently, methodically, letting the data tell the story. We're not here to destroy you, Mirainim. We're here to understand. Help us understand why you covered this. Mirai is silent for a long time, staring at her hands. When she finally speaks, her voice is steady. I thought I could fix it before anyone knew. Kang Nim introduced us to Hanjin Materials 2 years ago, said they were a reliable supplier with competitive rates. I didn't question it. He's been here since before the collapse, survived the hard years, helped us rebuild. I trusted him. When did you realize it was fraud? Asteria asks. 3 months ago. An engineering manager asked about components we'd supposedly ordered. Said he'd never seen them. I pulled the records, traced the payments, realized the supplier didn't exist. I confronted Kang Nim. He said it was a clerical error, that he'd fix it, that bringing it to the CEO would create unnecessary panic. Her voice cracks. I believed him. Or I wanted to believe him. Because the alternative meant I'd missed another fraud. Just like with your father. Junseo flinches. I failed once, Mirai continues, tears now streaming down her face but her voice still controlled. I found the evidence too late. People lost everything. Families destroyed. Your father died thinking he'd failed everyone. I swore I would never let that happen again. So when I found this, I thought, if I could solve it myself, gather irrefutable proof, present a complete solution instead of just another problem, maybe it would balance the scales. Maybe I could finally forgive myself. So you covered it, Asteria says, without judgment, just stating fact. Temporarily. I preserved everything. Built the case. I was going to bring it to you last month, but then the merger started and I thought, wait until after, when we're stronger, when we can absorb the blow. She looks directly at Junseo. I'm sorry. I should have trusted you. I should have known you're not your father. You're stronger than he ever was. The silence stretches. Asteria can see Junseo wrestling with fury and compassion, betrayal and understanding. She watches him make the choice in real time, sees his hands unclench, his jaw relax, his eyes soften just slightly. You should have come to me, he says quietly. We could have handled this together, but I understand why you didn't, and I understand you were trying to protect the company, not destroy it. What happens now? Mirai asks. Now we confront Kang, Junseo says. All of us. Tonight. And then we decide how to move forward. The emergency board meeting is called for 9 p.m. Asteria spends the afternoon building the presentation. A forensic breakdown of the fraud scheme, evidence so airtight even the best lawyers couldn't dismantle it. Transaction records, bank statements, email chains, the ghost company's paper trail. Everything documented, cross-referenced, undeniable. Dr. Yoon arrives early, takes one look at the prepared materials, and nods approvingly. You work fast. I've done this before, Asteria says. Different country, same story. Trusted insider. Long con. Everybody misses it because they don't want to see it. Will it hold up legally? If it doesn't, I'll retire. She meets his eyes. This is solid. The question isn't whether we can prove it. The question is what Junseo does with the proof. The board members filter in at 8:45 p.m. 8 people, all men except Mirai, all in their 50s and 60s, all wearing the carefully neutral expressions of people who know something bad is coming but don't know what yet. Kang Sung-ho arrives last. He's 62, silver hair, expensive suit, the kind of presence that fills a room through sheer accumulated authority. He's been a board member longer than Junseo has been CEO. He sits at his usual place, right hand of the head of the table, and smiles warmly at Junseo. Working late again, I see. You push yourself too hard, just like your father. Junseo doesn't smile back. Thank you all for coming on short notice. We have a situation that requires immediate board attention. Ms. Kingsley, please present your findings. Asteria stands, activates the main display. 3 months ago, CFO Park Mirai discovered financial irregularities in the Busan subsidiary. Over the past 6 months, W342 million in payments were made to a supplier called Hanjin Materials Supply for components that were never ordered and never delivered. Our investigation reveals this is part of a larger fraud scheme totaling approximately W800 million over 3 years. She clicks through slides. Transaction records, the ghost company's registration, or lack thereof, wire transfers to offshore accounts. The board members lean forward, faces ranging from shock to confusion. Kang's expression doesn't change. That's the tell. Hanjin Materials Supply is a shell company, Asteria continues. It exists only on paper, created solely to funnel money out of Lyra Dynamics. Every invoice was initiated and approved through the same authorization chain. She pauses, meets Kang's eyes. Board member Kang Sung-ho. The room explodes. That's absurd. I've known Kang for 30 years. This is clearly a mistake. Kang stands slowly, his calm more damning than panic would be. This is outrageous. I've served this company faithfully for 20 years. You bring in an American consultant for 3 weeks, and she accuses me of fraud. This is exactly what I warned you about, Junseo. Outsiders don't understand our culture, our loyalty. Sit down. Junseo's voice cuts through the chaos. Not loud, just absolute. Sit down and look at the evidence before you insult everyone's intelligence. Kang sits. His smile is gone now. Asteria continues, relentless. Offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands and Singapore. Wire transfers matching the exact amounts and timing of the Hanjin payments. Bank records showing deposits made within 48 hours of each fraudulent invoice payment. We also have emails. She pulls up messages on screen. From your personal account to Hanjin's registered agent, discussing payment schedules, coordinating transfers, instructing the agent to backdate invoices. Those emails are fabricated. We pulled them from your company account with a warrant signed this afternoon, Dr. Yoon says mildly. Korean Financial Services Commission was very cooperative once we showed them the preliminary evidence. Kang's face shifts. The mask drops. What's underneath is uglier. Calculation. Fury. Contempt. You have no idea what you've done. I built this company alongside your father. I kept it alive when everything was falling apart. I earned every one I took. You stole, Junseo says. His voice shakes now, rage barely contained. You stole from people who trusted you. You used my father's name and my loyalty as cover. And when Mirai Neem found evidence, you manipulated her into covering for you. She covered because she's guilty too. She covered because you lied to her. Asteria slams her hand on the table. Every head turns to her. You told her it was a clerical error. You told her bringing it forward would damage the company. You used her trauma from your previous fraud. Yes, I found that too, to make her doubt herself. That's not complicity. That's psychological manipulation. The silence is deafening. Dr. Yoon stands. The Korean Financial Services Commission will begin formal proceedings tomorrow. Kang Sung-ho, your board position is terminated effective immediately. Security will escort you out. We'll be in touch through your lawyer. Kang stands. Looks directly at Junseo. Your father would be ashamed. He understood that sometimes you do what's necessary to survive. You're weak, just like he was. Junseo doesn't flinch. My father died because he trusted men like you. I won't. Get out. Security appears, 2 men who've been waiting outside, and escort Kang from the room. He goes quietly, but the poison he left behind lingers. The remaining board members sit in stunned silence. Finally, the oldest one, a woman in her 70s who's been silent throughout, speaks. What happens to the company now? We survive, Kyungrae Soh says. We report the fraud to authorities. We cooperate fully with investigations. We recover what we can and absorb what we can't. And we prove that transparency doesn't destroy companies. Secrets do. One by one, the board members nod. Mirai speaks quietly. I'm prepared to resign. No. Kyungrae Soh's response is immediate. You made a mistake, but you preserved the evidence and ultimately chose to come forward. We fix this together, or we don't fix it at all. After the meeting ends and the board disperses, Asteria finds Kyungrae Soh on the rooftop, the same one from the gala, now deserted and dark, rain starting to fall in cold October sheets. He's standing at the railing, hands gripping the metal, staring at nothing. You did the right thing, she says, stepping into the rain beside him. Her blouse is soaked within seconds, but she doesn't care. Then why does it feel like I lost? His voice breaks. Kang knew my father, held me when I cried at the funeral, told me I'd be a great CEO someday. And the whole time he was stealing from us. Because doing the right thing costs something, always. She moves closer, close enough that their shoulders almost touch. But you didn't lose. You built something your father would be proud of. A company where truth matters more than comfort, where loyalty means telling hard truths, not covering convenient lies. He turns to her, rain streaming down his face, mixing with tears he's not hiding anymore. I couldn't have done this without you. Yes, you could have. You just didn't have to. The words hang between them. Rain drums on metal and glass. Soul glitters below, oblivious to the small war just won on this rooftop. He kisses her. No hesitation. No strategy. Just need. The kind born from shared battle, from seeing each other's worst and choosing to stay, from building something together that neither could have built alone. She kisses back, hands fisting in his wet shirt, pulling him closer, tasting rain and salt and relief. His hands cup her face, thumbs brushing her cheekbones, gentle despite the desperation. When they break apart, both breathless, he rests his forehead against hers. This is complicated, she whispers. I know. I'm still your consultant. The merger audit isn't finished. I know, but I don't want to stop. Then don't. He kisses her again, softer this time. We'll figure it out. Together. They stand in the rain until they're both shivering. Then Kyungrae Soh takes off his jacket, soaked but warmer than nothing, and drapes it over her shoulders. They leave the rooftop hand in hand, and for the first time since the plane, Asteria feels completely, perfectly safe. The news breaks 3 days later at 11 p.m. on a Thursday. Asteria is in her hotel room, reviewing integration plans for the merger's next phase, when her phone explodes with notifications. News alerts, social media mentions, emails from her firm's PR team with subject lines in all caps. She opens Naver News. Her face fills the screen. American consultant orchestrating Lyra takeover. Insider claims jobs at risk. The article is vicious. Claims unnamed sources say she's recommending mass layoffs, foreign acquisition, gutting Lyra from the inside while pretending to save it. There are quotes, fabricated, she's certain, about her aggressive Western methods being incompatible with Korean corporate culture. Her photo is the one from her firm's website, but it's been edited to make her look harsh, cold. Her phone rings. Marcus Chen. She almost doesn't answer, but ignoring him never works. You saw. His voice is carefully neutral. Did you leak this? Asteria's voice is ice. I gave a journalist context. Background. You've been gone 7 weeks, Asteria. The partners here are asking questions. Your other clients are being reassigned. I'm trying to protect your position. By destroying my credibility? By reminding you where you belong. New York. Home. Not playing house and soul with some CEO you met on a plane. His voice hardens. You think I didn't notice? Soo-jin posted a photo from some company event. You're in the background looking at him like he hung the moon. It's pathetic. Her blood goes arctic. How dare you? I dare because I care. Because I see you throwing away everything we built for what? 6 months of pretending you're someone you're not. You're a New York consultant. You belong here with me, building something real. Come home. I'll fix this mess. I'll fix us. There is no us, Marcus. There hasn't been for 3 years. Because you ran. You always run when things get hard. Career over commitment. Ambition over love. No, she says, voice shaking now with rage instead of fear. I chose self-respect over shrinking myself to fit your ego. And I'm done letting you rewrite history. Don't call me again. She hangs up. Blocks his number. Then she sits on the hotel bed and lets herself shake. Her phone rings again. Kyungrae. I saw the article, he says without preamble. Are you okay? No. I'm coming to get you. You don't need to. I know I don't need to. I want to. 5 minutes. He arrives in 4, still in work clothes, hair messy like he ran his hands through it during the drive. They don't speak in the elevator or the lobby. He just takes her hand and leads her to his car. A modest Hyundai, not the CEO luxury she expected. They drive in silence to the Han River, park at a viewpoint where couples usually gather, but it's deserted now, too cold and too late. He turns off the engine. They sit staring at the water reflecting city lights. Marcus leaked it, Asteria says. My ex. He thinks he's saving me from myself. Do you want me to ruin him? Kyungrae asks mildly. I have contacts in New York. I could make things uncomfortable. She laughs despite everything. Tempting. But no. I'll handle him my way. Which is? Public transparency. Press conference. Full data release. Show everyone exactly what I've been doing here. Let the truth defend itself. That's risky. What if they don't believe you? Then I'll know I tried. And I'll sleep better than Marcus ever will. She turns to face him. But I need to ask you something. Is this us? Is it worth the risk? To your company? Your reputation? Kyungrae reaches across the console, takes her hand. You found fraud that could have destroyed us. You gave Mirai a chance at redemption. You stood beside me when I confronted a man who'd been lying to me for years. You're not a risk, Asteria. You're the reason I'm still standing. The merger will succeed or fail based on data, not rumors. And anyone who thinks I'd let personal feelings compromise my company doesn't know me at all. He brings her hand to his lips, kisses her knuckles. We do this the right way. Transparent. Documented. Let our work speak for itself. What if it's not enough? Then we'll figure out plan B, together. They sit in comfortable silence, watching the river flow. After a while, Asteria speaks quietly. I think I'm falling in love with you. Junseo's breath catches. I think I fell the moment you grabbed my wrist on that plane and held on like I was the only solid thing in the universe. She kisses him. Soft. Sure. A promise. Let's go save our reputations, she says. Our reputations, he repeats, smiling. I like the sound of that. The press conference is scheduled for 2 p.m. the next day. Lyra's communications team scrambles to coordinate. Sujin books the main auditorium, sends invitations to major media outlets, prepares materials. Dr. Yoon advises on messaging. Facts. Only facts. No emotion. Let the data do the talking. But at 1 p.m., an hour before the conference, Kyungrae pulls Asteria aside. I can't be up there with you, he says, and she sees the conflict in his eyes. If I stand beside you, they'll say I'm protecting you because of whatever this is. It has to be you alone. Your data. Your credibility. Her stomach drops. You're asking me to face this without you. I'm asking you to be the badass consultant who doesn't need anyone to validate her work. I'll be in the audience, front row. But you have to stand alone for this to work. She wants to argue. Wants to demand he share this burden. But she knows he's right. Okay, she says. I'll stand alone. At 2 p.m., she walks onto the stage. The auditorium is packed. Journalists, bloggers, industry analysts, even some Lyra employees who came to see if their jobs are really in danger. Cameras flash. Microphones bristle like weapons. She spots Kyungrae Soh in the front row, exactly where he promised, face calm, but eyes locked on hers. She takes a breath. 4 counts in, hold, 4 counts out. Good afternoon. My name is Asteria Kingsley. I'm a mergers and acquisitions consultant hired by Lyra Dynamics to conduct an integration audit for their merger with Orion Technologies. An article was published yesterday claiming I'm orchestrating a takeover and recommending mass layoffs. I'm here to address those claims with facts. She activates the presentation. Numbers fill the screen behind her. Since beginning this audit 7 weeks ago, I've reviewed every department, interviewed 147 employees, and analyzed 3 years of financial data. Here are my preliminary findings. She clicks through slides. Employee retention projections, 94%. Severance packages for necessary restructuring, 40% above industry standard. Job creation in new divisions, estimated 250 positions over 2 years. Integration timeline, 18 months, designed collaboratively with Lyra's own teams, not imposed externally. I also uncovered significant fraud in the Busan subsidiary, $800 million stolen over 3 years by a board member who has since been removed and is facing criminal charges. That investigation is ongoing, and I'm cooperating fully with Korean authorities. A murmur runs through the audience. This is news. I came to Seoul to do a job. Ensure this merger strengthens Lyra Dynamics without sacrificing its integrity or its people. I'm staying because I believe in this company and the leaders who built it. Every recommendation I've made has been data-driven, ethically sound, and approved by CEO Han and the governance board. She pauses, looks directly at the cameras. I understand that as an outsider, I'm easy to distrust. But I ask you to judge my work, not rumors. The data is public. Doctor, Yoon will distribute full reports after this conference. Hold me accountable to facts, not speculation. The room is silent. Then hands shoot up. Ms. Kingsley, is it true you're romantically involved with CEO Han? Her heart stops. She glances at Kyungrae Soh. He nods slightly. Your call. My personal life is irrelevant to my professional competence. Next question. But if you are involved, doesn't that compromise your objectivity? Does anyone ask male consultants if their relationships compromise their work? Or is this a question reserved for women? Her voice is sharp now. I've provided comprehensive data. If you can find a single recommendation that prioritizes personal interest over company health, present it. Otherwise, focus on substance, not gossip. The journalist sits down, chastened. Another hand. What do you say to critics who claim you don't understand Korean corporate culture? I say they're partially right. I don't have decades of cultural immersion. But I understand numbers, and numbers don't lie across cultures. I also listen. To Dr. Yoon, to Ms. Park, to every employee who shared insights about what makes Lyra special. Good consulting isn't about imposing external values. It's about amplifying internal strengths. More questions. She answers each one with data, with calm, with the confidence of someone who knows her work is bulletproof. 40 minutes later, the moderator calls time. As Asteria steps off the stage, Mirai stands from the audience. I have something to say. Every camera swings to Mirai. She walks to the podium slowly, hands steady despite the weight of what she's about to do. Asteria moves aside, giving her space, heart pounding. My name is Park Mirai. I've been CFO of Lyra Dynamics for 18 years. I want to address the fraud Ms. Kingsley mentioned, and my role in it. The room erupts. Journalists shout questions. Cameras flash. Mirai waits for silence, expression calm, like she's finally laying down a burden she's carried too long. 3 months ago, I discovered financial irregularities in our Busan subsidiary. Payments to a fake supplier, orchestrated by a board member I trusted. When I found the discrepancies, I made a mistake. I covered them temporarily, thinking I could investigate and resolve the issue before it became public. She grips the podium. I was wrong. Covering fraud, even with good intentions, makes you complicit. I should have gone to CEO Han immediately. I didn't, because I was afraid. Afraid of failing this company again, as I did during the previous crisis. Afraid of causing panic. Afraid of proving I wasn't strong enough to protect what we'd built. Her voice strengthens. But Ms. Kingsley found my hidden evidence. She confronted me privately, gave me the chance to come forward on my own terms, and helped build the case that removed a criminal from our board. She didn't leak this to hurt me. She gave me the opportunity to choose transparency. Mirai looks directly at the cameras. I'm cooperating fully with authorities. I'm accepting a role change from CFO to COO, a demotion I deserve. And I'm staying at Lyra because CEO Han believes in second chances. Ms. Kingsley could have destroyed me. Instead, she showed me that accountability and grace can coexist. She steps back from the podium. The room is stunned silent. Then Jun Seo stands, walks to the stage, takes the microphone. I'm Han Jun Seo, CEO of Lyra Dynamics. Ms. Kingsley has worked for this company with integrity, brilliance, and courage. She uncovered fraud that could have destroyed us. She's building an integration plan that protects jobs while positioning us for growth. And she's done all of this while facing unjust attacks on her character. He looks directly at Asteria. To anyone questioning her competence or her ethics, her work speaks for itself. Judge us by results, not rumors. This merger will succeed because of consultants like Ms. Kingsley, who care more about truth than comfort. He doesn't say I love her. He doesn't need to. It's written in every word. The conference ends. Media swarms, but security creates a path for Asteria and Jun Seo to exit together. In the hallway, away from cameras, he pulls her into his arms. You were perfect, he whispers into her hair. We were, she corrects. All of us. That night, the narrative shifts. Articles about the fraud, praise for Lyra's transparency, analysis of Asteria's data-driven approach. Marcus's poison loses its power in the face of facts. Her firm's senior partner calls. Brilliant handling. Seoul office opens next year. Want to run it? Asteria looks at Jun Seo across his office, where they're reviewing final merger documents. He's focused on a contract, glasses perched on his nose, pen tapping in 4-count rhythm, and she realizes, this is home. Let me think about it, she tells her boss, but she already knows the answer. 2 months later, the merger is official. Lyra Dynamics and Orion Technologies become Lyra Orion, a hybrid powerhouse combining software innovation with hardware precision. The press calls it the ethical merger, a model for how integration can strengthen companies without sacrificing souls. Jobs not only saved, but expanded by 200 positions. Stock price up 18%. Employee satisfaction scores at record highs. Asteria's firm promotes her to senior vice president, offers full partnership track. She negotiates a clause. Seoul base, New York visits quarterly. They agree, because losing her would cost more than accommodating her. Marcus sends flowers to her new Seoul apartment. She donates them to the Lyra lobby with a note. From someone learning to let go. She hopes he means it. Tonight, Jun Seo takes her to Namsan Tower. Touristy, he admits, but he insists. They ride the cable car up, the city unfolding below like a circuit board of light, every building a story, every street a life lived. At the top, couples attach love locks to fences, writing promises in steel and ink. Cheesy, Asteria says, smiling despite herself. Necessary, Jun Seo counters. He pulls out a lock, simple silver engraved in both Korean and English. 4 counts, forever. Her throat tightens. You remembered. I remember everything. The way you grabbed my wrist. The way you trusted me when you had no reason to. The way you stood on that stage alone and proved courage isn't the absence of fear. It's walking through fear toward truth. He attaches the lock to the fence, hands her the key. You kept me breathing. Now I want to keep breathing with you. Build a life where neither of us has to carry everything alone. She throws the key over the edge, watching it arc into the night. Tradition says once locked, stay locked. She's ready for that. They stand at the railing, his arm around her waist, her head on his shoulder, soul glittering 300 meters below. Wind carries the smell of street food and winter turning to spring. I need to tell you something, he says quietly. I still see my therapist. Tuesdays. Probably will for years. The panic attacks are managed, not cured. I know. Soo-jin still blocks your Tuesday mornings. Asteria turns in his arms to face him. I still take medication for flying. Still hate turbulence. Probably always will. We're both works in progress. Think you can love a work in progress? I already do. She kisses him. Soft and sure. Think you can love someone who argues with you about data at 2 a.m.? That's my favorite version of you. He laughs. They leave the tower hand in hand, take the cable car down, walk through the streets of Itaewon where international restaurants mix with Korean tradition. He takes her to a tiny place his mother used to bring him, Pojangmacha, a street tent restaurant serving soju and tteokbokki and comfort. I want you to meet her, Junseo says. My mother. She lives in Jeonju. Calls once a week to ask when I'm bringing home the woman Soo-jin won't stop praising. She knows about me. She knows I'm happier. That I laugh more. That I stopped eating ramyeon for dinner because someone taught me self-care can be communal. He pours soju into small glasses, hands her one. She wants to meet the person responsible. And you want me to meet her. I want you to see where I came from. Understand why I am the way I am. Meet the woman who taught me that strength isn't carrying everything alone. It's knowing when to share the weight. Asteria raises her glass. To meeting mothers and sharing weight. They toast. The soju burns warm. Around them, soul breathes. Endless, alive, home. 3 months later, they fly to New York together. Asteria warned him. My mother is intense, asks inappropriate questions. Will definitely interrogate you about your intentions. Good, Junseo said. I have very clear intentions. The plane, same route, JFK to Incheon reversed, hits turbulence over the Pacific. Not dramatic, just the usual bumps and shudders that make nervous flyers grip armrests, and certain passengers reach for barf bags. Asteria's hand tightens on the armrest. Beside her, Junseo takes her hand, laces their fingers together, squeezes gently. 4 counts in, he says quietly, voice barely audible over the engine hum. She breathes with him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Release. The turbulence passes. The cabin steadies. The seatbelt sign dings off. Around them, passengers exhale, return to movies and sleep in the normal rhythm of long-haul flights. Asteria looks at their joined hands, his thumb stroking her knuckles in that 4-count rhythm that's become their language. I'm okay, she says. I know. He kisses her temple. But I'm here anyway. She leans into him, head on his shoulder, watching clouds part through the window. Below, the Pacific glitters, infinite and unafraid. She thinks about the woman she was a year ago. So armored she couldn't breathe. So controlled she forgot how to feel. So focused on surviving she forgot to live. Thank you, she whispers. For what? For being the voice that brought me home. He smiles against her hair. You brought yourself home, Asteria. I just kept time. The flight attendant offers pillows. They take 2. Because they're building a life where rest is allowed. Where vulnerability isn't punished. Where panic attacks and therapy appointments and medication aren't moral failures. They're just part of being human. Where love is the merger that matters most. Hours later, they land at JFK. New York sprawls below, gray and crowded and loud, so different from Seoul's neon warmth. Asteria's mother waits at arrivals, 68, fierce, already sizing up Junseo from 30 feet away. Ready? Asteria asks. Terrified, Junseo admits, but with you. They walk through customs together, into baggage claim, into Asteria's past, which is somehow less scary when she's not facing it alone. Her mother hugs her first, tight, long, the kind that says, I missed you, and I'm proud, and I was worried. Then turns to Junseo. So you're the one. I'm the one, he agrees, bowing slightly, that perfect blend of Korean respect and American directness. It's an honor to meet you, Mrs. Kingsley. We'll see if you still think so after dinner. I have questions. Asteria loops her arm through his. He has answers, good ones. They leave the airport together, 3 people instead of 2, and Asteria realizes this is what home feels like. Not a place, not a city, but the people who see you at your worst and choose to stay, who hold your hand during turbulence, who mark time when you're drowning, who build something solid enough to hold both of you. The taxi drives into Manhattan's chaos. Junseo holds her hand. She breathes in rhythm with him. 4 counts. Automatic now. No longer emergency protocol. Just how they love. The inaugural Lyra Orion Innovation Summit opens in Seoul's COEX Center on a bright April morning. 3,000 attendees from 40 countries. Asteria delivers the keynote on ethical integration strategies. Her speech is downloaded 50,000 times in the first week. Junseo closes the conference with Lyra Orion's 5-year vision. Sustainability without compromise. Transparency as competitive advantage. Humanity at the center of innovation. Standing ovation. Media praise. Investors delighted. The merger is case studied at Harvard, INSEAD, Seoul National University. But the moment Asteria treasures happens after, in the green room, when Mirai approaches with a small wrapped box. For the woman who taught me that accountability and grace can coexist, Mirai says, pressing it into her hands. Inside, a silver bookmark engraved with Korean calligraphy. Sijagi Banida. Beginning is half. It means, Mirai explains, that starting is already halfway to finishing. You gave me the courage to start again. Thank you. Asteria hugs her. No words needed. Some debts can't be spoken, only lived. That night, Junseo and Asteria walk along the Han River, the same path they took a year ago when everything was uncertain. Now the uncertainty has shape. They know the risks. They know the rewards. They know each other's rhythms, when to push, when to hold, when to just breathe together. I got news today, Asteria says. My firm wants to open a full Seoul office, 50 consultants, regional headquarters. They want me to run it. Junseo stops walking. That's incredible. What did you say? I said I'd consider it, if they agree to something. Which is? Partnership, full equity, and the freedom to turn down projects that violate my ethics, even if they're profitable. She turns to face him. I'm not leaving you, Junseo. Not for a title, not for money, not for anything. You became my home. Not Seoul, not New York. You. His breath catches. Then he drops to one knee, right there on the riverside path, joggers passing and couples staring. Then marry me. She laughs, pulls him up. That's not a question. It's a fact. Marry me. Build this life with me. Teach our kids to breathe in 4 counts when the world gets loud. Fight with me about data at 2 a.m. Meet me for coffee in Seongsu every Sunday. Choose me every day, and I'll choose you back. Tears stream down her face. Yes. Always yes. He kisses her, deep, sure, joyful. People around them applaud. Someone shouts congratulations in Korean. The river flows on, indifferent and eternal. That night, in his apartment that's become theirs, they lie in bed talking about logistics. Wedding timeline, small, intimate, 2 ceremonies, one in Seoul, one in New York. Living arrangements, buy a place together, something with a rooftop garden. Work boundaries, no shop talk after 9 p.m. unless it's an emergency. Your mother will want to plan everything, Junseo warns. So will yours. They'll either kill each other or become best friends. No middle ground. I'm betting on best friends. They're both terrifying in similar ways. Asteria laughs, curling into him. His heartbeat is steady under her ear. 4 counts. Like breathing. Like home. Hey, she says quietly. Hey, I love you. I love you too. He kisses the top of her head. Thank you for grabbing my wrist on that plane. Thank you for keeping time. Outside, Seoul sleeps and wakes in its endless rhythm. Inside, 2 people who learn to be brave enough to be vulnerable, to be strong enough to ask for help, to be honest enough to build love on truth instead of performance. They simply breathe together. 4 counts in. Hold. 4 counts out. Perfect. Their story started with a stranger's voice in a storm. 2 people who learned that the strongest foundations aren't built on never falling, but on knowing someone will help you stand. If you've ever chosen to let someone see your fear and found safety instead of judgment, you know why stories like this matter. Subscribe for more stories about the courage it takes to be human, the strength in vulnerability, and the kind of love that's built through shared storms, not in spite of them. Your support means everything.